Why are we all here today? Really, why are we here today? To learn, right? We're actually all here for a common goal, to get new ideas. And by the end of the day, we may probably have so many ideas in the list than we know what to do with. And the dilemma we face as HR leaders is that we are expected to be change champions. Let me borrow the other speaker's quote. And we are left with so many ideas, but which ones of those ideas do we move forward? Thought-provoking questions as an intro, right? In fact, many of those ideas will not even get articulated. Why? Because we often get paralyzed by possibility. The older generation may probably know it more as analysis paralysis. Some can relate, so it's, some are still within my same generation. Many of those ideas, unfortunately, would only get stuck in the head. Some may actually be discussed, and very, very, very few will actually be articulated into action, which in the HR world we call as what? Innovative strategies, right? Strategies that are so focused on developing current business model, current practices, and products. HR, as a critical function, has even enabled that further because we always come up with performance programs that actually incentivize people to making the business better. We even created a culture where people are actually expected to come up with incremental. The word I use is incremental innovative ideas. Why? Because people by nature will come up with ideas that are very comfortable because they're used to it. It's based on trends, based on previous historical backgrounds, and even experience, right? Right? Yet we call it innovative because we rehash it, we reinvent it, but it's still the same. It may be appearing innovative, but in actuality, it is actually what? Predictable, right? So what are we supposed to do now? HR leaders should be disruptors. Example of being a disruptor, I may wear all black, but look at my shoes. Who amongst you can top my shoe for today? I am, by nature, a disruptor. Let's look at this example. Who killed Goliath? David. These new David in the industries turned our industries upside down. Uber is the world's largest what? Taxi company, but ironically, they own no taxi. Facebook is the world's largest social media owner, but actually does no content. And Airbnb is the most largest accommodation company, but owns no real estate. Yet why did those big companies at the bottom fail? Because they made the mistake of overlooking the services at the bottom of the market. They did not see those were coming. Because they were so focused being comfortable in improving and developing incremental, innovative change. What do these Davids have in common? Disruptive thinking. They were bold enough to come up with groundbreaking ideas that changed the business. As HR leaders, let us be following the principles of disruption. And what is this? Clay Christensen describes it as displacing an existing market, industry, or technology and producing something new, more efficient, and worthwhile. It's at once what? Destructive and creative. New technologies are often ignored by big, successful companies because they start at the bottom of the market. Hardly anyone is buying their products and services. But in time, those services and products grow gradually in influence that they actually surpass the old systems. Who we are as HR, we're not technology or infrastructure. We are people. We are in the people business. And if we are not careful, we might find ourselves becoming obsolete. Because we tend, from our nature, to just concentrate on trends, foresights, market study, in the hopes that we would be able to prepare ourselves in terms of handling those changes. But why do we content on just being able to handle when we can actually disrupt everything? It's okay to disrupt. Because in retrospect, it's really not about technology. It's about how we think. Think big, be big. It's all about you. It's not robotics, AI, customer intelligence. The disruptive change that you're looking for is inside of you. It's you. It's me. It's all of us combined. How do we then become the disruptive change to the people around us, to the people that we lead? From an HR CEO perspective, not only to the function, to the industry, but even to the country as a large scale. Embrace disruption. Be comfortable in being uncomfortable. Embrace new feeling. Oh, believe you me, I have been embracing this new feeling with my team for the past 2 years. The feeling of being scared. Scared that sometimes the things that you come up with are so high risk that people may not like it because you don't even know what it's going to do. But being disruptive in a good way is also amazing if you take that journey of faith. Because it actually takes everyone by surprise. It brings us to a turning point that totally changes the direction. And you're asking me, oh, it's so easy for you to say theoretically because these are just theories. Oh, believe you me, I have with me here 6 members of my team who worked tirelessly with me in the past 2 years, and we were termed as disruptors within our own White & Case Global because we work in a traditional law firm, but being in Manila, we disrupted some of those status quo and past practices in order to do what we needed to do, which we strongly believe in, change. Let me show you a little bit of that data. The other speaker said that we should be not focusing on millennials. True, because we already have Gen Z. We haven't even figured out millennials. We already have Gen Z in our company. From an education perspective, a lot of people would think that you should have many degrees to be able to make it to the top, but it represents only what? 1%. From an overall business support services, these are the competencies of the people we hire for now. Give it like 2020, will these competencies still be the same? No. Because some of these competencies could be created obsolete with some of the disruptive business trends nowadays, right? Looks familiar? Attention to detail, needs for structure, seeks perfection. All these can actually be replaced by robotics and AI, artificial intelligence, customer intelligence, and cloud. But we should not be afraid of these things. We should let technology work for us because we can never be replaced as people. Don't be afraid of the change. Rather, think as if there's no box. I would have wanted to tell you the things that we did in White & Case. But if I did so, I will no longer be inspiring you to be disruptive. because you would only be adopting those, create it better, rehash it a bit, and you will end up being innovative, right? So I won't. But I'm happy to say that in the past 2 years, despite the changes and the pain that the team went through, I even have here with me Chiki Novales. She's in front. Chiki, can you raise your hand, please? I know she doesn't like it. There. She wrote an article that got featured in Business World. And look at the title. White and Case goes beyond traditional employee engagement. Because we did not even pretend that as HR leaders, we know everything. We actually ask the people what they want. And straight from the press, last night, that particular achievement actually was put into stone when the team heard that we have been awarded as one of the top best companies to work for, not only in the Philippines, but in Asia. I come here simply to provoke the way you think. But whenever I come in front of the stage, I just don't represent the firm or the company I work with. I also represent the man behind the inspiration. I will not tell you the strategies we implemented, but I will tell you my secret, which is an open secret to the team. My secret is my greatest example of a disruptive thinker and my role model. People nowadays think that disruptive thinking is a new buzzword recently. It's not. It was actually created and started by a man, fully God, fully man, 2,000 years ago. I'm an HR person, cerebral, and I will prove this to you through a disruptive hypothesis. When Jesus was on earth, he did everything right in the sense that he didn't have to follow trends. He only did what he needed to do because his confidence is anchored solely on the Father. He did everything right in his eyes, yet the Pharisees didn't like the way he did it. They hated him, right? He was expected to be in a certain behavior. You shouldn't do this. You should wash your hands before eating. He challenged the status quo and was fearless about it. Some would even think that by not defending himself when he was wrongfully accused, mocked, spat, hurt, flogged, even to the point of crucifixion and death, that he was intentionally being what? Unreasonable. Because if he is indeed the Son of God, as he claimed, he could have easily sent angels go down to save him. This is purely cerebral. I can tell you names of human beings that have led good leadership principles, but I will just be doing it second best. Because I highly strongly believe that as for me, he is my only inspiration. When he died, people thought it's lost. We thought he would be the Messiah that would dethrone the Romans. He died, disciples get scattered, people laughed, people mocked. But to be a disruptive thinker, you actually have to be wrong at the start in order to be right in the end. It's okay to be scared. I believe he was scared. He prayed, right? If that could be passed from him. But he was more focused on the goal and the prize, us. As HR practitioners, relatively, we should focus on our prize, the people. It's not on the accolades, it's not on the title, it's the service that we do towards people. On the third day, he rose again, defeated death, Satan, giving us an ability to choose eternal life. Relative to HR, we all have a choice. Will we do the right thing, which started off as wrong in the beginning, because in our hearts we knew it's the right thing because it is really the right for people? As I stand here, I represent both my office and the nonprofit foundation that I strongly believe in. And today is very special because in the many years that I stand in front of many people, it is just only now that I have my family with me. I have my husband, I have my eldest son, and I have Josiah. For you who have heard me last year, you know probably who Josiah is, but I see new faces, so I will introduce to you who he is.
Being all over the place and really could not.
That boy that
look
you
at
see
could
used to
not
be
do any task with
autistic,
you. He
non-speaking,
has
violent,
grown to speak
and
intelligibly,
oh my God, very hard to
really,
handle.
Look at you and respond to the questions that you give to him. He's able to settle himself in independently, less of the prompts and the red directions. He's able to initiate the work and then continue on and then finish the task. Used to have many fixations, would just fixate on the littlest thing and would not be able to work because of strong distractibility and hyperactivity too. Would always insist on doing things when that thing is not part of the program but you would want him to be on. But I was really hopeful because I've seen so many kids like him in my years of doing therapy. So I was able to, in a way, pull through with faith in God and with the support of the parents. They have always been telling me that they have been praying for him, and I make it a point to pray for my students as well, and the constancy in communicating with the teachers because the bulk of the work is on them. So my work here in the school as a consultant of the special needs is really to bridge and to really fill in the gap.
People kept him in the box. They said he will never recover, he'll never speak, he'll need medications, and he'll never make it to the world. But I'm glad that my role model, who's the original disruptive thinker, created a big heart in me and given me a gift of faith. To not put my little child in a box, like an HR practitioner would probably have done, being cerebral, but actually adapt the possibility that he does not need a box because there's no box. There's no boundaries because if you adopt that, possibilities are actually limitless. In June 22, 2016, he got supernaturally healed, and now, when you see that boy there, he attends a regular school, finished grade 1, 98.5 average, good in math, excellent in math, English and science. That is the same child people told me will never be able to make it in this world.
A geyser is a kind of
He's that talkative.
that shoot up from the ground. Instead of lava, it's water.
Is it warm? Is it hot? Is it cold?
Well, if a geyser shoots up from the ground like old baseball, it will be dangerous for you to touch the water because it's hot.
Okay.
For a geyser to form, at the bottom of the geyser, there's water, which is cool, which is cold. And you know what's at the bottom of the water? It's magma.
So,
Magma are kind of things that are rocks
melted rock?
into liquid.
Oh.
Josiah, how come you know so much? You know more than mommy.
Very hot because they melt the stone?
Yeah. If you go to the layer at the second of the layer of Earth.
What's the second layer of the earth?
No.
He's my son, and he's a walking Wikipedia now. I don't know where he gets that, really. Like, he'd sit with me and say, what's a geyser? And I say, what? I'm 42, I don't even know what that is. What is success? Success can be defined as being on top. being financially independent so much so that you can just buy everything that you want, not simply the things you need. But on a personal note, I think success to me is relative, depends on how many people you've touched, how many lives you've significantly impacted to make a difference. What the enemy purposely intended to destroy us became actually a mission to help people. And I guess the reason I'm emotional, because both HR and what we do on a nonprofit way defines who I am. It can never be different. And all that, it's because I've found a reason to make that work. I don't edge God out. I make Christ as my center. So, as I end, by all means, think big. But when you do, tasks becomes bigger. We get burnt out, we get depressed, we get scared. It's normal. But it's okay. Because if you have one that unifies everything, it will be okay. And my last advice is that in everything that you do, go ahead, think big, be big. Task could be bigger, but make God biggest. And you've learned today very good things about HR, but now I hope before you go, you've learned something about life. Ultimately, at the end, we're not measured by the titles that we carry. It's actually how we did well on earth in terms of changing people. And let me close by quoting Psalms 147:5. Great is our Lord and mighty in power. His understanding has no limit. Thank you.